All right, we begin with our Eye on Tech and the 2025 Africa Games Industry Report from KPMG and VideoGames offers an in-depth analysis of the rapidly evolving gaming sector in Africa, covering the latest trends, challenges, and opportunities. With mobile gaming leading the charge, Africa's gaming ecosystem has experienced substantial growth fueled by an expanding, young, and tech-savvy population and enhanced digital infrastructure. This year's report shines a spotlight on the key markets, studios, talent initiatives, and emerging trends that are shaping the future of the African games industry. Data-driven insights from across the continent highlight the dynamic changes taking place, providing valuable perspectives for developers, investors, and policymakers. We're happy to have with us Lawrence Amadi, who's a partner and head of tech risk at KPMG Africa, to jump into this report. Lawrence, good morning to you. Thank you so much.
Morning, Rotos, and thank you for having me.
Maybe I should Happy New Year if it's not too late in March. I want to start globally. We've got a data point from the report showing that 49% estimated spending from consumers on games in 2024 split between the United States and China. US and China, they've been making news for other reasons. But can you talk about the domination of these two nations in this field?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think if we exclude all the Trump and US drama, the big players in gaming in the US, you'd have the Blizzard, Activision, but the largest player there is the Electronic Arts, EA, and we see they've built the games largely around the things Americans like, sports, some betting instances, some just everyday living. If you go to China, it's Tencent, and these guys are also big players, valuation in double-digit billions. And I think that dominance looks like it's going to be there for a while to come for two reasons. One, these guys are price leaders. And two, they've managed to scale and push these games to the rest of the world. So that dominance, we think, will continue to be there.
Now, we have another data point showing the breakdown of spending in 2024 for the regions around the world, led by Asia Pacific and also by North America. So, about 58 or so billion from Asia, 50 billion, 50.2 for Asia Pacific, and then 85 billion for Asia Pacific and 50.2 for North America. So basically my question is, should we assume this trend continues into the foreseeable future where those two regions continue to lead?
Good point, Rotos. I think this trend is likely going to continue. If you exclude China, you've got to consider Korea and Japan are also really big games developers. Sony are the guys behind PlayStation. And we all know how kids are obsessed about PlayStation across the world. They've continued to, improve the game. They take the real footballers in the Premier League and La Liga, replicate their speed, performance, and those games continue to just speak life to the gamers. So we expect that the trend and Asia Pacific will continue to also lead in that race because when you look at the basic things like AI, coding, improvement, the hackathons, these guys are actually front runners. So we expect that this trend will continue.
I want to bring it to Africa. There's a chart from the report showing the top 5 markets, and the normal players are there. Your Egypt's, your Nigeria, South Africa, Algeria, and the like. I think it was a new revenue high of over 200 million that they crossed for 2024, and this is for mobile game markets. Can you talk to us about the triggers behind that?
Okay, so when you look at the Africa continent, the revenue generated out of the continent today in 2024 is estimated at $1 billion. Now, we are trying to see how much of that we can even try and retain on the continent, because a number of that would have also been revs generated that has been shipped out of the continent. So if you look at South Africa, look at Algeria, look at Egypt, they're doing quite a bit with the game studios. They're spending quite a bit and also trying to raise funds to promote the game culture locally. How do we get here, or how do we propel the journey? I think every single country with their respective nuance are then thinking, we've got to create games that people can relate with locally. If you look at Nigeria, for instance, Malio developed a game behind Iwaju. And Iwaju is a Disney production.
Yeah.
Just the way people embraced such games, would be how we then see how we keep propelling the Africa story and Africa journey.
You mentioned raising funds, and it brings me to two companies in India and in Turkey. And I think you also mentioned those regions as well in your report. So one is 1312 Interactive. They closed a pre-seed funding round, and they will be making console and I think PC games. They're one of the first in India to do it, and they want to expand in 2025. Then you've got the Turkish company, Surpass? That's right, Surpass Games. They raised 1.5 million. Can we get these type of funding round news and decisions on the continent of Africa, that is, to rival what they're doing in Turkey and in India?
I absolutely think so.
Yeah.
So I'd backtrack and say, think about the 90s in Nigeria. When we go for any events, what music did we listen to?
It was foreign music.
It was largely foreign.
Yeah.
And then Plantation Boys and Co. all showed up and gradually paved the way. So if I look at the journey so far, I think we're sort of getting there now.
Yeah.
The international community and also private equity companies who are looking for new exciting areas to put capital are saying we're seeing this young, dynamic, emerging society on the continent. And they seem to be the guys that we want to put the money behind.
Yeah.
The last 5 years, the fintechs have attracted the most funds on the continent. And I think as you look at the trend for going forward, games and gamers, community is growing. Yeah. And I think it's going to start attracting, this funds pretty soon.
Now, I got to ask you about the infrastructure side. If I want to get a console game, and there's a big community now playing online across the world. One of my issues, if I was living here on the African continent, is power. About 600 million Africans don't have access to electricity. So you are worried about your power going out while you're playing. So you might have to spend more money on an inverter and so on and so forth just for the console. Then there's the strength of the network to play online, where you might be lagging on the African continent while your opponents who are playing with in the West. And so how much of the infrastructure discussion goes into being able to boost the gaming market here for us?
So this is a very germane point, Rotos, and I know the issue around infrastructure and power is one that Africa keeps talking about, and we can't stop talking about it anytime soon.
Yeah.
Recently, KPMG helped in the production of a sustainability report for the telecoms industry, working with the Minister of Communication, Innovation, and Digital Economy. That then led, to the pricing getting relooked. I think it led to some other conversations being had around security for telecoms infrastructure, power for telecoms infrastructure, and the likes. What that then does is it potentially opens the door for additional foreign direct investments for power and for the telecoms industry.
Okay.
So we are expecting that we would see some uptake, both in investment and also in the expansion. And when you talk expansion, network quality is at the heart of it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we would get there. Look, if you look at the internet penetration, we're sub 52%.
Right. Yeah.
So there's still some way to go. But I think it's a process, and we're getting there gradually.
Yeah.
Look, today, realistically, MTN, Airtel, Glo, they've said to themselves, we've got to find a way to take advantage.
Yeah.
There's 9 Mobile now, coming up, also making a statement. And I think in the next coming months, we should see some decent improvement.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess putting everything together, what is your outlook for the sector as far as gaming is concerned for Africa, Nigeria, and so on?
So definitely positive. We've partnered with Malio to put in this report together. And when we look at the studios, the game studios, like locally available today, we are seeing that there's a community saying to themselves, let's also get a skin in the game. Not too many people are, saying much about this era. let us make this the new Afrobeat for the continent.
Yeah.
Because, again, like I said, in the 90s and early 2000s, we didn't know Wizkid, Burna Boy, and Davido. And over time, the guys started exporting heavily. And, you know, they went ahead of our movie industry. And just, you know, putting that trade out. So our gaming community also seems to have latched onto this potential. And I think there's a whole lot of promising future for the guys in the space.
Fantastic. I encourage everyone, again, download the report, really in-depth. Love the information in there. I can't let you go without talking about Arise News and KPMG's budget day for 2020. This is our third go around, right? Coming up next week, what can we look forward to?
So I guess everyone is saying to themselves, what does 2025 hold?
Yeah.
You know, so again, potentially more borrowings will be in the horizon.
Yeah.
If the currency continues the steady trend that we've seen since the year began, and it's strengthened also a bit, then it helps businesses plan better.
Right.
Hopefully we can find a stable 2025.
Yeah.
But I would encourage everyone to tune in for sure. Monday 9 a.m.
Just about. We're going to have ministers, top executives from KPMG.
Correct.
We're going to break down the 2025 budget. I'm sure you're going to talk technology that day, just like we did last year, right? Yeah, at the KPMG headquarters in VI. So you all tune in for that. It's going to be great. Lawrence Amadi, partner, head of tech and risk assessment over at KPMG Africa. Thank you so much.